Hi, welcome to the Stealthy Crafter. So today I have a Wip Chat for you guys. If you don't know what Wip stands for, it stands for work in progress. And you usually can get your own whips, or if you want to listen along while you do chores, drive, sit on the couch, whatever. So let's get started, shall we? So today's project is Moon Elf. I brought her back out again, and I decided I wanted to work on her face. I was going to just leave the face by itself. I was just going to do everything else and then come back up here. But nah, we're going to work at least on one of the eyes. I hope you guys are doing okay. I'm kind of exhausted. It's been a busy week with not a lot to do. It's just been, what's happened was, like, last time I left you guys, we had snow. We had a snow day. And oh my goodness, what I was dreading kind of happened. So Wednesday was an e-learning day, and oh man, that was exhausting. So I have my notes here just so that way I can try and keep on track. But I'm finally glad I have a little bit of peace and quiet. I'm going to just say this right now. I love my kids, but I'm glad I have some peace and quiet. So what happened was, Wednesday was an e-learning day because we still had some snow, but what happened was we had a lot of black ice in the area. Most of the people in this town was so upset when e-learning was announced. We had no school on Monday and Tuesday, thankfully, so there was like no missing school days. Excuse me, I am so sorry. But yeah, so what we had to do was we cleared my oldest daughter, her computer area. We cleared the desk off because it's like a small little writing desk, honestly. And she set up shop there to do her e-learning. And she's usually good. I don't need to, keep track of her because she's got it handled. She knows her schedule. She knows what to do. I just got to make sure I got her lunch and recess ready to go. But with the twins, we had to sit them up in this room, in the dining room. And, oh man, I like e-learning days, but I don't like them at the same time because the way our school does it, they have to be on WebEx all day. And it's possible for my oldest to handle that kind of thing, but for my twins, they're too young to still sit still. They're first graders. They know how to do it. It's just that trying to keep them engaged is hard to do, and that's what was going on. So I had them sitting opposite sides of each other. It was a lot better than it was last year. Last year I had to have their headsets off because I had to help make sure that they were interacting with the teachers, muting when they were supposed to, and it was a cluster. You know what. This year it was less so. I was able to scroll on my phone a bit and do little things. I tried to do some diamond painting. I got in like a little section over here done because I couldn't work on my other painting at all. So I pulled this out and sat on the corner on the edge over here while the kids were listening to their teachers. But I had to look at my phone constantly, had everything plugged in. We had to get an extension cord in here. But it was just like, oh man, just so much work. It's just like, because my kids' schedule, even though they're twins and they're both in first grade, their schedule is so completely different from one another. They have it like in similar lines, like this. So like this time's developmental play, this time's whatnot. So it was just like they logged in at different times, and sometimes they overlapped, and it was a headache trying to keep track of everything. One of the teachers, my son's teacher actually, was very kind on the first day. Yeah, we had e-learning more than one day. I don't know if I mentioned that. So the first day, she sent out notices and said, it's time to log in at 9:15. Time to log in at this time. And then when the WebEx meeting ended, she goes, okay, now go onto your tablet and do this activity. And it was like very helpful and helped me keep everything in track. But I was just, oh my goodness. And it's just like with my daughter, my youngest daughter, she last year, she is not someone that can handle online learning. I realized that because last year she would be very sullen and very grumpy and would not engage with the class at all. And I would have to like, okay, the teacher said you have to get up and dance. Go dance. And last year she was like, I don't want to. And I was just like, you gotta dance. And it was a lot of heartache and a lot of frustration trying to get her to do a thing that she was supposed to do. This year was a bit better. She the first half of Wednesday, she was kind of in that sullen attitude. And then I was able to, go, you can talk to your kids, classmates and stuff like that when the teacher says it's okay. It's not, you don't have to be like quiet the whole time. And I was telling my son, it's okay to not be loud. The problem was like when they had to talk at the same time. Oh man, it was just like, my son, he's very loud, especially since he has his headphones on and he doesn't realize how loud he's being. So he starts saying something and then clearly my daughter gets asked a question by the teacher and she's like, and he's like, math is easy, math is fun, I like that, why can't you get it? And I'm like, oh boy, it's just like, I'm like, all right, you gotta be a little bit quieter. You can talk to your teachers, but don't be, loud, because you're actually hurting my ears. And he's like, oh, and then I go into my daughter. I'm like, you can talk a little bit louder. You don't have to mutter and mumble under your breath. It's okay. And then it was like a little switch on her. She became a chatty Cathy. Oh my goodness, just constantly chit-chatting the whole time. I'm like, okay, I didn't mean like that, but I don't want to argue. The teacher will tell you to like, let's not. It's because I was trying to be as hands off because the teachers don't want you to be like basically directing every move, but I was sitting there just to make sure that they were doing their schoolwork, that they were listening to their teachers, and that they were paying attention. And they were, for the most part. It was just it was still very exhausting because we had stuff to do, and my husband, oh my goodness, he stepped up. He took care of laundry and he took care of dishes and he helped with lunch. While I'm like literally sitting there staring at the kids, going, okay, they're doing this. And then like as soon as I'm about to do a thing, they needed help with something. Like with my daughter, at one point, she's like, I can't see the video. No one can see my face. And then I had to go and, figure out what was the issue. She turned off the camera. And then my son was just like, it was his tablet. I hate his tablet so much. So his sister's tablets they connect to the internet just fine. They connect to Wi-Fi just fine. His has an issue and it just does not want to do anything at all. And it takes a while to even get into WebEx. Sometimes I would have to log out completely. Like I have to turn off his tablet several times before it would let me even log on to WebEx so we can talk to his teacher. So I would have to make sure that we were getting on like several minutes before he was supposed to log in, which I usually try to. I try and give it a 10-minute buffer. And the teachers always seem surprised that, they're on like 5 to 10 minutes before class starts, but it's just like, I'm trying to make sure that they're actually on time. But yeah, it was just, oh man, it was a lot of work trying to make sure that I missed one. Darn it. That always happens, doesn't it? Let's see. This one. Alright. So overall, we were doing normally okay. It was just a lot of go, 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 for the most part. And what was funny was at one point, my son, like his teacher decided she decided to combine math and science at the end of the day instead of having two separate meetings. Just and no, what it's supposed to be doing is like, let's see, we had lunch, then we had math, and then it was supposed to be recess, then science. She decided no recess. We'll just do math and science. They do their activity, and then they're off early. So he got off an hour early, while while his sister had to still stay and do her schoolwork. And oh man, she was not happy about that because she can see that her brother gets to, do fun stuff and she can't. And I'm like trying to keep him quiet, and keep him entertained while both his sisters are still in school. And then she gets off like almost right at school time. And like their older sister gets off early too. And I'm just like, okay, well, this is gonna be crazy. And it was. So one of the things I think was happening with him too was his sound wasn't registering. Oh man, and it was just like trying to make sure that he was able to be heard from the teachers, and it was frustrating. But his teachers know he's smart and knows that he knows the answer. So usually they're not going to harp on him if they can't hear him. Compared to last year, oh my goodness. Last year, it was kind of crazy last year. So when he was in kindergarten, he gotten the teacher that my oldest had for kindergarten. And like a month or so into when school happened, she broke her arm really bad, like to the point where she needed surgery. And the kids kind of comment about how she had a robot arm. It was just like it was a device to hold her arm the whole time. But the teacher assistant was taking over for e-learning days, and it was so funny because in kindergarten I could see the difference between that teacher assistant and then my daughter's teacher. Like with my daughter's teacher, she had everyone muted until she asked you a question, and then you got to unmute as well. In his class, no one had she didn't mute anyone, so all the kids were talking over each other, and you had to hope that the other kids would mute so that way you were able to see the screen. And it didn't happen a lot, and my son was getting frustrated. And then of course his tablet, being the weird tablet that it is, would do its weird thing. And sometimes they were like, his teacher was accusing him of not listening or doing his work, and there was times where he had to, like, when she's like, what's 2 plus 3, like that, and he would do this instead. Like he would just put out his hand out in number 5, so that way she knows that he knows the answer, because he'll be saying it, and at times he's practically screaming at the screen, and it was like a lot of heartache. So this year I'm so glad the teacher just realizes, hey, he knows the answer even if I can't hear him. And I think I mentioned to her before that he's already had some issues with that tablet, so hopefully next year, if we with this happening, it'll be fine again, like with the teachers, because they get to keep their tablets all throughout the entire time when they're from kindergarten to 5th grade. So they keep the same tablet the whole time, I think. Although my oldest did get a new tablet in 3rd grade, so I don't know. But let's see, yeah, he got off early, and then I had to stay with my youngest, and oh my goodness, it was just, she was grumpy about it, but we got through it. It was like a rough day, and I was just like, I hope Thursday's not an e-learning day. And thankfully it wasn't, and I was planning on doing an unboxing that day. But I was just so exhausted from the day before. I went to sleep, and then I went, okay, I'm doing other stuff. I started kind of straightening up the house a bit, getting ready for, the birthday party that was happening on Saturday. I'm like, it'll be fine. I'll do it on Friday. It's fine. No, I should have done it Thursday because what happened was Friday we get a message, we get a phone call on Thursday night. The kids came home. They were all excited about being in school, telling me what they've learned, and I'm getting them ready for showers, and I get the phone call because we were supposed to get like another winter storm coming through during the weekend. And it was supposed to snow around Friday afternoonish. But what happened was they made they said that because of black ice and inclement weather, we will be having another e-learning day on Friday. And I cried so bad because that was so rough already. And I was like, no, I have things to do. I gotta get ready. I gotta make cake pops. I gotta do things. But no, I had to sit my butt back over here, make sure the kids were doing okay. And it was actually a bit more rough Friday compared to Wednesday. I guess because the kids got their taste of going back to school, and then they had to go back to doing this. And we actually had ended the day in tears. It was not a good time. My youngest, of course, again, like, she didn't get to have what's funny is she gets more time off in the morning, so she doesn't she came on this time, though it was like 8 o'clock instead of 8:30 compared to Wednesday. And my son had to log on at 7:45, and then my oldest, she had to log in at 7:25. So yeah, that's fun to try and keep track of, right? But she actually came on at 8 o'clock, got to talk to the teachers, and then it was just like, from there, like, it was just a whirlwind of activity. And she started melting down right at the end of the day. I could tell, like, there was a couple times where I'm just like, I whisper her name, and I'm like, stand up or sit up, like that way to her, and she just gives me that little glare that she does sometimes, and then just kind of ignores me. I'm like, look at the teacher, because she'll start putting her head down. I'm like, no, this is not, no, I hope she doesn't do this in school, The teacher doesn't say anything. Like, we get notes, teacher notes from her, from every day about what she does. Like, yesterday, I got a note saying she was extremely chatty, but still, really good day. So I would hope that the teacher would tell me that, hey, your kid's not, doing the thing. So I don't know if it's just because, she's at home or what, but I was just like, no, get up, pay attention. Like I said, it was rough. And then right at the end, because I was like talking to them during lunchtime, because I was like, all right, I'm going to need your guys' help. We got to clean up this house after school today. I was just like, we're going to make a big party for your sister. We're going to do we're going to trying to hype them up into cleaning. I'm like, yeah, we're going to do a great job. We're going to clean and we're going to have fun for tomorrow, and we're going to make cake pops and everything. And she took that as in to tell her teacher, okay, I got to take a sip of water. Hold on. All right. So she took that as in to tell her teacher at the end of the day she couldn't do her schoolwork because she's very busy, and she has lots of work to do to help mommy. And I'm like, no, you do not put that on me. Schoolwork comes first, young lady. And we had a meltdown. We had a big meltdown. After she finished talking to her teacher, I got on to her. I was like, no, you do not use me as an excuse like that. Schoolwork will always come first. And she had, like I said, a meltdown. I gave her some time to collect herself, and then I said, all right, now we're going to do our schoolwork. I'm so sorry. I'm just so sniffly. And she got mad at me, and I was just like, nope, we're going to do this thing. And then afterwards, she got into it because it was like, you're supposed to hide your monster, protect it from the sun. And she was telling me about this in school, about how she was so excited because she had a pink monster and she was trying to protect it from the sun, and she didn't want it to melt or disappear or anything like that. And we were supposed to make a project to protect this pink monster. And she was not into it. She just wanted to draw a picture, and her picture, I hate to say this, looked like crap. But we were like trying to be polite about it. Like, I could not tell what it was, but she was like, it's supposed to be a house. I copied this, and you could tell she just didn't really care and she didn't want to do it. And I was like, no. How about we build it? And I found boxes, because we have so many boxes, especially like from Diamond Art Club. I have a lot of those boxes. I'm still in the garage. We're planning to go to the recycle sometime soon and dump them all into the cardboard containers. But I brought out some boxes, and I'm like, hey, how about we use this to make a shelter for your monster? And she got into that. So luckily, she drew all over it, she colored it, and took a picture to send to our teacher for the day. And I'm like, thank goodness. We are now completely not in a grumpy mood. At least I hope. Now, we were still in a grumpy mood for a good bit of the day, but she was able to play with her brother. We had some homework that was supposed to be done, and funny enough, she didn't get her homework in her folder. Her teacher forgot to put the homework in there, so I was just like, I guess we'll do it later. I let the teacher know. She goes, okay, I'll put it in her folder for the next day. I'm like, great. And that became completely optional, because it was so late. But we have a lot of homework to do now this week to play catch up for only having really one real day of school and then two kind of days, because it's like what they did. Like, a lot of times I could hear when my son would unplug the tablet, I would hear his teacher like constantly asking a lot of other kids to tell the answer, and there was like a lot of radio silence. It's like, okay. Let's see. Where's the A? There we go. One of the things my oldest daughter had to do, she had gym for her activity this week, and she was so disappointed. She's like, I like gym. Apparently they're doing the parachute thing. So she's like, I like gym. I'm like, I'm glad you like gym. And she was just like very upset about the fact that she couldn't do it. So what we have here is like, we used to have activities, like different activities for the day. So like Monday you would have gym, Tuesday would be art, Wednesday would be music, Thursday would be the library thing, and then Friday would be technology. But it's jumbled up for every class and stuff like that. But because of the pandemic and everything, it's now a week of that activity. So it's like, my kids, I have to have a schedule written down on a cardboard showing what week is their week of activity. And this week was gym for her, and I think it was like music for my son, and then technology for my daughter. So she was supposed to stay active. Her teacher said to do something and run around the house, just basically walk around the house and don't sit down. And I went, we have the Ring Fit. Go play Ring Fit, because I couldn't keep her entertained the whole time. I'm like, just go play Ring Fit. That'll keep her standing up and doing some exercise and keep her active. And she did that for the first day. But then the second day, my husband had the bright idea to tell her to run around outside the house, where we got melted snow, and we live kind of like on a little bit of a hill on one side, and I'm like, she's gonna fall and slip in the mud. And he goes, she'll be fine. She slipped in the mud. She slipped in the mud. Her shoes got so dirty. My husband's like, I'll take care of it. I was the one that suggested it. I'm like, okay, because I'm busy with the kids right now. So she had to go get cleaned up before to log back on, which was kind of funny. So she didn't get to be as active that day, but that's okay. she went to go visit her friend later on that day, so she's completely okay. She gets to go out and exercise for a couple hours with her friends by biking around, scooting around, and all that fun stuff, or playing at the playground. Um, but yeah, it was just like Friday. It was just like it was very busy, and I was just like constantly trying to clean up the house. I was vacuuming after the kids were done with school. I started vacuuming. I started straightening up the whole area in here so it doesn't look too crazy because the kids make it crazy. And I started pulling out old board games because I was giving away some of my board games to my neighbors because the kids don't use it anymore. So why should we keep them in the household? And luckily, I was able to give away about 3 or 4 of them. Um, so so they were a little upset, and I was just like, you guys don't play with these anymore. You're getting too old with a couple of them. Like a couple of them were like word works and stuff like that. Like find the word with the picture, and I'm like, you guys are getting to be a bit big now. You know cat and hat and stuff like that. You guys are now working on bigger words, so so they were a little upset. There was like a strategy game that my youngest had that I said, I haven't seen you play this in months. It's time to pack it up. Then like a couple other games where they don't play anymore. I haven't seen them play in about a year or so. So I'm like, no, we're putting this up because they were like, we want it. No, you haven't played it. I want to make room for new games. And that's what happened, was just like we got rid of Hungry Hippos because it's gotten to be they don't really play it the way it's supposed to be played, and then they start arguing, and I'm just like, no, we're gonna just put this up. So I knew that my neighbor would love it with her kid. Like her kid would love it. He's like 4, so they took it. Luckily, hopefully she doesn't get driven crazy, but if she does, sorry. But yeah, I had on Friday, like after school, I was just like doing all that, and then I made the cake. I started making the cake like after my husband was done making dinner for everyone, because he said he'll take care of dinner. So I was like, okay, great, I got the cake then. So I made the cake. As the cake was cooling, I made the frosting for it because they're not cake pops, they're cake sickles, so they're cake pops in a popsicle form. And I don't know what I was expecting, but I didn't like the texture too much. My husband said, no, that's what a cake pop is supposed to taste like, but I didn't like it too much, but the kids liked it. I didn't do a great job that night. What happened was, like, I did the molding and everything, but the chocolate, like, I tried to thin out the white chocolate that night, and for some reason it was not it was coming out too clumpy. I have a feeling that the reason why is because, oh, I knocked the camera, I'm sorry. The reason why is because it was too cold. It was really cold. By that point, we actually started getting snow Friday night. We started having like a nice little big fluffy snowflakes. So the kids weren't expecting that, because especially last weekend we had sleet and ice and stuff like that. So they woke up to that instead last weekend. So that Friday night was just like, there's snow. They could not believe their eyes that there was actually snow. I think my husband let them go out to jump around for a moment. It wasn't a lot of snow just yet. It was just like very light dusting the ground. But we actually got surprised that we got about an inch or 2 inches, I would say, of snow. So enough to kind of let them have some fun the next day. Although I really didn't want them to go out, because it was the kind of snow that would melt quickly, especially with the weather, with the way we live in. It was already starting to warm up, so things were starting to melt very quick, and it started getting muddy. So, like, my husband let them play outside that day on the birthday. I'm trying to prep, I'm trying to clean up, and he's like, go out and play. And I'm like, are you kidding me? They're going to track in mud, you know. He's like, let them be kids. I'm like, but I'm trying to clean. I understand. I was very anxious and worried, and I was just like, I was starting to, go into panic mode. And he's like, it's going to be okay, it's going to be fine. And I was just like, ah. But I retried the cake popsicles that morning. I had some leftover popsicles that I didn't put into the melted chocolate, so I tried it again that morning, and that batch came out a lot better because it was actually much warmer than it was the night before. And I was like, okay, I know what to do next time. I had it in the freezer for 30 minutes last time, and it just came apart and it was crumbling. It would break, not crumbling, but it would like break into half. But then like I left this batch into the fridge all night and came out just right. So I'm like, okay, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just leave it in overnight. Because my kids asked me to make, my twins asked me to make cake popsicles for their birthday. So I was like, okay, I'm going to buy another mold so that way I have enough molds for the cake. And I'm going to just leave them there overnight. And then I'll just do the dipping the day of. And I guess that'll be it. I also found out I should probably do the sprinkles as soon as I finish dipping, because it sets quickly. So that's what I'm going to do next time. I do have to make another batch of cake popsicles this Saturday for the other party. I know. She's getting 2 parties. But not really. Yes and no. So what we did, we invited her friends, but she's only having 2 friends coming over next week. We originally invited 4, but out of the 4, 2 accepted, and 1's no longer her friend. And I'll get into that. We're going to talk about this party. But yeah, I've it was funny. I tossed everything up the stairs, and I blocked it off. I said, no one's going upstairs. So I just essentially threw everything up the stairs that we still needed, but wouldn't look good in the area. So I just like threw everything up there and told the kids put everything on my bed. And that they did, and I was just like, clean, come on. It was really cool. The kids had fun. My oldest, she was so happy. She's never had a party before. We never really done birthday parties. We do get-togethers. What we normally do is we normally do is we hang out with my in-laws. So she gets to see her Nana and her Papa for her birthday, like during one of the weekends around her birthday, and she gets to celebrate her birthday then. And I usually make a cake that she wants. I think I started the first year we moved here was when I started making cakes for the kids. Her very first cake I made was it looked so awful and cute at the same time. But I was determined to do it. No, not the first year. The first year we were here, we bought an Elsa, a frozen cake, because she was still into Frozen at the time. She was 3 years old at the time. Holy cow. But yeah, she wanted an Elsa cake, and we spent $50 on a sheet cake that was very disappointing from Walmart. And after that, I just kind of looked at my husband. I'm like, I'm making her cakes from now on. I wasn't the greatest at making desserts and stuff like that, but I was determined to do it. And the next year, I made her a cake. I made her like let's see, it was like either a 2 or 3 layered cake. It was like a strawberry cake. I went adventurous. Because at that point I decided to start making cakes, so I had a few cakes underneath my belt. I made like a lemon blueberry cake for summer times with like lemon flavored frosting. So I was like, okay, I know how to make cakes now. I got this. And for her birthday, I made like a strawberry cake with strawberry frosting, and then like also strawberry jam to go in it. And that part was delicious. What made it look so lumpy was I also decided I'm going to try my hand at marshmallow fondant because she wanted a purple cake, and the cake was all red tinged from all the strawberries that I cut up and made into preserves and frosting and stuff like that. So I tried my best at making a marshmallow fondant, and I tinted it purple. It was like a lavender color, and it was a pretty color. And then I also bought these edible butterflies. They weren't candy. It was just like paper type butterflies to put onto her cake. And it looked cute, but you can tell it was very lumpy. But that was the first time I made a birthday cake for the whole group. It was very adorable. And then like that same year, the twins were turning 1. So the twins turned 1, and I made them like carrot, like I think it was like, and it wasn't like carrot cake. I think it kind of was, but it wasn't. I made them like that, and then like applesauce frosting or something. I don't know, cause like with my oldest, she got a store-bought cake with real sugar and stuff like that. But with the twins, I decided to go really not sweet on them. If I remember correctly, my youngest was having trouble digesting certain foods, and she was an extremely picky eater at the time, still is, but she would get upset with certain things, and I didn't want to put too much sugar in her because she was having such food issues. But I only made like small little cakes. It was like their little smash cake. And then we got either a store-bought cake, or I made a cake for the rest of us to eat. I still have pictures where like I'm sorry, I'm going all over the place, but I have pictures of where my son, he was wearing his helmet at the time. He's just poking at the cake, like going, "What the heck is this?" And then my daughter, she's going in for the full big old bite. Oh my goodness, I'll cherish those memories forever. It was so funny. But yeah, at that point, that's where I decided I'm just going to make their cakes. I'm going to try and, do my best. I want to make them stuff. And it's kind of hard to do that for the twins because I can't make 2 cakes. So sometimes they have to compromise, especially if I get exhausted and they want elaborate ones. But I've been trying. I'm like, oh, if they want cake popsicles this year, I can do different cake popsicles. One can have her unicorn, rainbow princess theme, and the other one can have Minecraft or whatever. And I've done that. The last few years, I've made a lot of Minecraft grass blocks as their birthday cakes because that's been highly requested. And as much as I like doing it, I'm getting kind of tired of it. So I was kind of grateful. A little bit of a change this year. I stopped doing diamond painting and just started talking to you guys. I'm sorry. Let me find it. There we go. So yeah, I finished decorating all the cake popsicles. And I took a couple and put them to the side for my kids. I'm like, okay, these ones are the defects. So it was like 2 of them, which was just thick on chocolate. It had no sprinkles, which disappointed the twins, but it had lots of chocolate. It was the really lumpy ones. I'm like, you guys can have these. I'll make you ones with sprinkles for the next week. So they were okay with that. But yeah, all the kids had a blast. I gotten some blown up lightsabers for everyone to play with. Some of the kids were a little rough, and made me very glad in my decision on keeping everyone downstairs because I don't think I would want them running up and down the stairs. hitting each other. I could see accidents happening very quickly. And I didn't want any of the bedrooms destroyed, especially after the stories I heard from one of my neighbors, like when everyone got together. So what? Let's see. I know I keep saying let's see. So I'm trying to remember everything. It was a lot of stuff that we had to deal with. Oh, and of course I see the arrows as soon as I put the thing up. Doesn't that happen all the time? But we had a big pizza. My husband decided he was going to get pizza, and I had the idea. I didn't want to do cups. The reason why is not because of everyone else's kids, not because of my neighbor's kids. Okay, we only had 3 kids plus their parents come in for the party, and I was just like, okay, we're doing instead of having like open cups, I'm buying small bottles. We don't normally do this, and it's only because my children are accident prone. They get it from me. I drop everything all the time, which is why I don't have a lot of open containers. Everything's in bottles. I've been drinking stuff from a can again, but even then I try to drink those really quickly because I'm afraid of dropping them and spilling it, because I have the tendency of doing that. And my kids have picked up on that tendency for themselves. So I'm like, okay, we're going to get some little tiny miniature bottles, and if I have to, I will mark names on everyone. So he was great, because I forgot to do that, and he went out that day, the day of the party, to go and do that. And I was just like, is the ice going to be melted enough? And yeah, it was, luckily enough. Because we bought frozen pizza as backup just in case we couldn't get any pizza from the store. So we have frozen pizza. Yay! But we got a huge pizza. The kids' eyes were like, oh my god! It was huge. I think they call it the monster or something like that. I don't know. But it was just, it was like, my husband had to put I don't know if he did put the back 2 seats in the fan down or not, but he had to do that to slide it in because it fit the entire back of the minivan's truck. So the kids were like, "Oh my!" They could not believe their eyes seeing this big pizza, and my husband was just like, "I'm like, are you sure that might be a lot of pizza?" He goes, "Hey, leftovers," and we had leftovers for a couple of days. I think the kids are getting tired of pizza, to be honest, though. But let's see. But yeah, we had present time. We had everyone ate their cake popsicles. We got cupcakes just in case we didn't know if the kids would like the popsicles or not. I think 1 or 2 of the kids did pick something like that, or the adults picked the cupcakes instead. But it was just like, all right, you guys just choose what you want to eat. Have at it. And then we did present time, and it was funny. Every single person gave my daughter something to put on her wall. It's like, you all collaborated or something. You all put a theme together. Like, she got a letter that could color change for the lights in her room. And then like one of the neighbors got her glow in the dark mermaid stuff. I actually might mute out that letter now that I'm thinking about it. So if you don't hear what the letter is, that's probably why. She also got a few days later of course I see him right after I finished. She also got in her letter her name in mermaid colors, like not mermaid colors, like mermaid skills, to put in her room, along with some more glow in the dark stars. So she was pretty excited to be able to decorate her room, and I was like, yeah. But I think the biggest thing was we surprised her with the bike. I'm so sorry, guys. Yeah, we surprised her with the bike. We had everyone go outside. We had her wait and look at the garage, and then my husband opened the garage, and oh my goodness, she's like, a bike, my bike, a bike, and she ran towards it, and pulled it out, and I was just like, you like it? She's like, oh my god, best birthday ever, like that, and what I kind of had a little bit of a tear. I had to turn away. She got onto the bike. Okay, I knew that she's been learning how to ride, but I didn't really expect her to jump on the bike and start riding off. She's okay. She definitely needs a little bit more confidence and a little bit more experience. But oh my god, I was not expecting her to just zoom off in it. She was ready to go. She's all like, "Can I go to my friends?" I'm like, "It's late, no." But that was pretty much the end of the party. After that, I gave everyone their party favors. I started, I sat down and I was just like so exhausted, and I think I fell asleep. That, like, we were watching a show and I just kind of zonked out. I was just like, I was so tired after that. We had everyone get into their pajamas and cuddle up. But overall, it was a good day. I'm so glad that she had a good party. But yeah, sorry, I'm keep sniffling. But what's coming up is tomorrow's Wednesday. I took another breather on Monday. I was so exhausted after all that. Monday I was just like, I'm kind of just zoning out and going, I don't feel like doing anything. I did do an unboxing on Sunday, though. The kids were kind enough to let me get that done, so I was like, please, guys, and they got to do a little bit of TV time while I did that. I was like, thank you. But yeah, so her birthday is actually tomorrow, Wednesday. She is so excited because she gets to see Nana and Papa. Instead of on a weekend, she gets to see them tomorrow on her actual birthday. So she's so excited. We're supposed to get a call today about the surgery for my husband tomorrow. I've been talking about this eye thing almost every time. I'm kind of worried because he had to cancel Friday's eye appointment. He had an eye appointment on Friday for his other eye, supposedly. But I don't know if because he had to write in the notes that he was still on for tomorrow, but no one has called him for confirmation for tomorrow. And I'm kind of like, I'm getting a little worried here because, there should be a confirmation call, right? He's getting nervous too. He's really nervous about the whole thing. And I'm like, it'll be okay. Just think about how you won't be in so much pain afterwards. But yeah, so she's excited about that, and I'm hoping that it'll take her mind off about what's been going on. She lost one of her friends last week. She came home when we came home on Thursday. It was the only day she went in school, and she was so upset. I was just like, oh no, what's going on? She found out like one of her friends was talking and whispering mean things behind her back, and was telling her that no one likes you, no one wants to be your friend, and that no one really will want to come to your birthday party. And it was upsetting because this was the birthday party she was invited to. She was that double birthday party that she had gone to. It was either last month or like earlier I think it was last month maybe. So she was really upset. But her other friends, the other 3 friends that she invited, stood up for her. And what was surprising was, I kind of asked her about it later. I probed a bit more. And it seems like she's just made a sudden switch like this. And I'm like, well, I'm in my mind, I'm like, oh, something's happening and at the household, or something's going on to cause her to lash out, because even the bestie that she had, like the one that she's had that double birthday party with, she's even lashing out at her. So, and saying things. And they were like this. They were best buds, according to my oldest. And she was, I'm like, well, maybe something's going on in the household. And my daughter kind of was like, does that mean I have to forgive her? Does that mean I have to still be her friend? I'm like, and it's very rough navigating these waters, guys. I would love to have some advice about how to handle a tween. I guess that's what she is right now, since she's almost 10. But because her mood swings are so sudden and quick. Oh my goodness. I don't know if I'm going to be able to deal with teenage her. But I was like, no, you don't have to accept her apology. You don't have to be her friend, but you can listen to her out. People can change. People can be apologetic, but you don't have to take her hand in friendship again if you don't want to. I'm like, you don't have to do anything you don't want to. I'm like, but you don't need to be mean back. That's all I'm asking. So she seemed to be okay with that, and she was telling me how confused she was. She didn't know if she still wanted to be her friend or anything like that if things got better. And I'm like, that's up to you. It's no one's choice but your own. No one can force you into that. So hopefully I gave her the right advice. I'm hoping. Because I had that kind of stuff happen. I'm sure all of you guys had that too. And that's the coffee. I really should have made myself a cup. But she was so upset, and I'm just trying to cheer her up. But I think this birthday party helped her a little bit, cheered her up a bit more. And then yesterday she came home, apparently made a brand new friend, and was asking me if I could invite that brand new friend to the birthday party. And my husband and I had to shut that down. I'm like, it's a little bit short notice. It would be kind of rude to invite her. But I can see about writing an invitation and saying, don't worry about presents and stuff. It's a small get together. It's literally going to be just two of her friends have accepted. And she told me that her third one might come, and I'm like, I would like more than a might, because I'm hoping that the parents would say yes, no, because I gotta make preparations for it, you know. But I don't know. What we're planning to do is probably make personal pizzas that day, and it's going to be very small. I bought like some bracelet making stuff, and they're going to watch Encanto. We just watched that Sunday, and oh my goodness, I cried. The kids cried too. We're all like crying together, bawling right at the end. I'm just like, oh, and it's just it's a good movie though. But oh my god, the songs are catchy, and I can't stop singing it all the time. Like, I'll just start humming the songs, especially You Don't Talk About Bruno. Oh my goodness, I keep humming that one a lot. And then I like the Pressure song as well. So my youngest, she likes it because donkeys became unicorns. Well, donkey corns. I'm sorry about the sniffles. But yeah, it was just like, it was so cute. But I love the whole thing. And I apologize, guys. I had to cut off a good bit of the last bit of footage. Only because I realized that some of the stuff I was saying might be spoilers to the movie I was watching. So I apologize for cutting out a good bit, and especially having it cut to this. Also, I kind of rambled on about my WoW stuff, and I wanted to ask you guys a question. Would you guys prefer to listen to me talk about my gaming experience? Because it's one of the biggest parts of who I am, not just crafting in general. The reason why my name is the Stealthy Crafter, for people who are new here, is because I played WoW for the longest period of time, and I still do. And even though it's not something that gives me great joy to play as much anymore, I still play it because I enjoy playing with my friends. They give me a lot of company, and I feel it's great to be having some adult interaction to talk to while I play with like these group of people, and we have a lot of fun and stuff like that. Even though I don't enjoy the game as much anymore, so here's some of the things you don't know about me. I play a WoW, like I said, I play a rogue in WoW. I don't go. I don't go too hardcore in the game anymore. But I do have some Mythic Plus. I do Mythic Plus. I haven't hit a 15 this expansion. No, not this expansion. This raid tier. I think I have like done 14s and 15s, and then when we called it quits, we kind of just called it quits altogether. Because normally when we're done raiding, we still play mythics. If you guys aren't aware, mythics are a dungeon where we do, and Mythic Plus is a dungeon that's timed, so you have a certain amount of time to beat all the bosses in that dungeon before the time expires to get a really good score. But yeah, I'm planning on, I might still talk about my whole WoW thing, but I would like you guys to tell me, would you prefer if I say it at the beginning or at the end? Because I did ask this question way back when I first started. Of course, at the time at the time I had only a few subscribers. I still don't have a lot of subscribers, but it's still a lot more than it was back in the past. So if you guys want to give your opinions, I could put it at the beginning or at the end. That way you can just fast forward, or you can just turn it off at the point when I start blabbing about my WoW stuff. I apologize for like the abruptness that happened, but I figured you guys didn't really want to hear too much of that babble, and especially a spoiler kind of thing. So I hope you guys like this video and subscribe if you want to, and have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!